Yo, what is up guys, it Ghost here, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking all about Season 1 for Battlefield 6. The reveal is coming tomorrow guys. I will be doing a live stream here on the channel, so whatever information is revealed there, we'll be going over all of that live. But today, I'm going to talk about what we know so far. I've also got a couple of other interesting tidbits for you guys. No Shore Canals, again, yes, another remake. The other day we had Metro. No Shore Canals looks like it is well on the way to being remade for Battlefield 6, coming out of a guy called Matavata. There have been some slight stability issues for EA, and then also Marcus Leto, co-creator of the Halo universe, one of the previous lead developers for Battlefield 6, who mysteriously decided to leave the project after years on it, has spoken out, and he's not too happy. As always guys, if you enjoy the content here on the channel, this is the place to be to stay up to date with everything around Battlefield 6. As you guys know, I do my best to bring you the news as well as plenty of tutorials and guides and that sort of thing. So if that's what rocks your boat, then hit that sub button. It's always appreciated. Thank you so much. Okay, let's start with the biggest news first. So the official Battlefield Twitter account just tweeted this a few minutes ago. They say, "We roll at dawn. Season 1 trailer tomorrow, including the first look at Blackwell Fields at 8 AM Pacific time," which I think for me is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 4 or 5 for some of you guys in Europe. So I will be live on the channel here covering that. But what do we know about Season 1 so far? Well, the way they're going to be doing seasons for Battlefield 6 is by breaking them down into separate chapters. And for this one, the first chapter comes out on the 28th and it's called Rogue Ops. And this is the map here. It's called Blackwell Fields. They say support for all combat sizes, land and air vehicles. Just as the fires of war from the single-player campaign start to cool, Pax Armata double agents launch a series of attacks on NATO targets. These strikes begin at a recently recommissioned American airbase in the California Badlands. And many months ago, we've already seen leaked concept art of this map, so that's what it looks like here. Obviously, it's got all of these oil rigs out in the Badlands around California. I would guess that this is also another screenshot from that map. You can see that everything is on fire. And then here is another one. It's not clear if this concept art is from the Battle Royale, because we know that's also going to be set in California due to leaks and stuff like that. But I think this looks like the American airbase that they've just mentioned there in the description for the map. I'm sure we're going to see more of this in tomorrow's trailer. I don't think there's going to be like a full walkthrough of the map per se. It's going to be just more like a little teaser trailer, but I do think they're probably going to drop a new blog post along with it. Now, there's also a new mode coming called Strike Point, which is designed actually for 4 versus 4 combat. And it says Strike Point is an intense, small team tactical mode where a squad fights another squad across multiple rounds to capture a key objective. There is only 1 life each round, so make it count. There's a new vehicle as well called the APC Traverser Mark II, and it says this armored personal carrier seats 4, 1 driver, 1 roof gunner, and 2 backseat passengers side gunners, serving mostly as an infantry support vehicle. So the vehicle is not too crazy there. It's basically just going to be like infantry transportation, infantry support. The Strike Point mode kind of surprises me though, because I think people have been crying out for larger game modes, larger maps, that sort of thing. And so having a 4 versus 4 game mode here that kind of fits in with stuff like Rush or Squad TDM and all those kinds of smaller size modes, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I guess they also planned this way in advance before people had even played the beta, and I'm sure in the future, for those who do want bigger game modes, bigger maps, we will see some of that stuff. Now, alongside that, there's also a new carbine rifle, the SAW 300C coming, which is a low rate of fire subcompact carbine chambered in the higher damage 300 blackout ammunition compared to the platform's 5.56 version. Then there's a new sniper rifle, the Mini Fix. It says, remember the Scout Elite? Then consider this lightweight bolt-action sniper rifle designed for the aggressive recon soldier a mini fix to your needs. We've also got a new sidearm, the GGH-22, a high-capacity, high-fire rate and low-damage pistol meant to bail out a soldier when their primary, and in the case of assault, both their primaries, run dry. And then for attachments here, we've got a rail cover or an LPVO, which is for low power variable optic, and it's kind of a vague term to be honest, because it basically just describes any optic really that like uses power and has more than a one-time zoom, but it is going to be variable, so I guess we'll see what that ends up being. So that's phase 1. That is just the content that is coming on October the 28th. Then we have phase 2, and that is going to be coming around 2 or 3 weeks later on November the 18th, and this one is called California Resistance. And this is the one here. This, instead of being set sort of out in the boonies, is going to be more in like the core of California. And internally, this, I believe, is the map that has been given the name Eastwood. We have, once again, seen some concept art of this map. So here we have a shot of some rib boats, in fact, going down a river. We can see a sign there on the ground that says Sunset Boulevard quite clearly. Here we have another shot of what, again, looks like Sunset Boulevard here. So I think this is going to be a very, very different map than the Badlands map or the one with the oil rigs on there. So for this one, they say support for all combat sizes, land vehicles and helicopters as part of a coordinated strike across the west coast of the United States. Pax Armada sleeper agents embedded into the Eastwood community, a sleepy, affluent suburb connected to a golf course, are activated. And here again is some more concept art of that golf course. So for this one, the game mode, once again, is going to be quite a small one. It's called Sabotage, and it's designed for 8 versus 8 combat. Destroy as many sites as possible before the round time finishes. Use your creativity and your arsenal to do so. Each team has 1 round each to go on offense and defense, and the team who successfully detonates the most sites wins. So that sounds a little bit like Battlefield's take on Search and Destroy. Then we've got battle pickups that are coming back. Veterans will be familiar with battle pickups. Unlike weapons that appear in a loadout, battle pickups are high-tech, powerful weaponry that are limited in ammo and availability throughout a given map. Where will these pickups live exactly? That's up to you and your squad to find out. And for those of you who haven't played Battlefield before, battle pickups have generally been things like very high-powered sniper rifles that can one-shot you in the body at any distance, miniguns, rocket launchers. Think those sorts of things, maybe even a railgun, and just a little bit of inside information, we have already seen a leak of that. Then we have the DB12 shotgun here, a dual barrel pump action shotgun that feeds from 2 different tubes. One trigger pull fires a shell or a slug from one barrel, and a second trigger pull fires the other, and then the pump action rechambers both barrels. So double barrel shotgun there, pretty badass. We've then got a new sidearm, the M327 trait, high damage with a low rate of fire. This 8-round revolver is strong up close with a considerable damage drop off compared to its 44 Magnum comrade. And then the attachment for this one is going to be the slim handstop. And then finally here for phase 3, we have the Winter Offensive, which is launching on December the 9th. And it's not really a new map, this one. It's basically like a rehashing or a bit of a new take on the Empire State map. It's called Icelock Empire State. It is going to be a limited time map there. So basically, New York has frozen over, as it tends to do sometimes. So that should be pretty interesting, especially because they have this new mechanic called Icelock, which is like a limited time event. And it says this limited time event is centered around a mechanic called Freeze, which is a gameplay modifier that is only active in specific experiences. So what is that going to do? Is it going to slow down soldier movement? Is it going to cause your weapons to jam? Is the water around, Manhattan going to freeze over and you can get on the water? I really have no idea what they're going to do with that one, but I'm very intrigued to find out. And then finally here, they have the Ice Climbing Axe, which is going to be a new melee weapon. I'm kind of curious to see what, role this plays in the game, because at the moment, there's only really, 2 melee weapons in the game. There's the knife, which allows you to run faster, of course, and then there is the sledgehammer, which allows you to destroy buildings. So what is the Ice Climbing Axe going to do? Is that going to work into the mechanic on this map with the Ice Lock? Are we going to be climbing up walls and stuff with the Ice Climbing Axe? It's going to be pretty interesting. So I have to say, guys, I really like their approach to content here. It's clear that they're trying to keep a nice steady flow of content, keep the cadence pretty regular, so we're only maybe 2 or at the maximum 3 weeks without getting something new. Obviously, it means we are seeing these seasons a little bit drip fed to us. Instead of getting the whole shebang on one day and then waiting 3 months, we're getting one map and then we get the other map and then we get kind of half a map. So let me know below what you guys prefer. Do you prefer to get everything all at once, or do you like this system where we kind of get a little bit fed towards every couple of weeks? Now, speaking of new maps, Mr. Matavata here over on Twitter, Matavata, I can never pronounce this guy's name, but anyway, I digress. He has actually begun his recreation of No-Shot Canals, which is, of course, a famous Battlefield 3 map. It was also in Battlefield 4. It was also in Battlefield 2042, so this map has been in a number of Battlefield games, and Battlefield fans out there will know it and hold it very dearly in their hearts. And I have to say, It's looking really, really good. For you guys who don't know this creator, he's already made Shipment from Call of Duty, he's already made Kill House, and now he's busy working on No Shore Canals. Now, as far as I understand, it is not finished yet, so he hasn't released this, he hasn't given up a code and said, here guys, you know, go and play it, so I wouldn't bother looking for servers of it yet, but as soon as it is released, I'll be sure to bring you guys a video on it in the near future. So make sure you subscribe for that one. Now, yesterday, if you noticed some weird issues like server instability, disconnects, latency issues, that sort of thing with Battlefield 6, that's on October the 20th, you're definitely not alone there, and the Battlefield Communications account just tweeted this out saying, we are investigating reports of disconnects, latency issues, and connecting to wrong regions currently. This might be connected to a general outage that is affecting services outside our direct control. We are investigating what our teams can do to help bring back a smooth server experience. Thank you for your patience. And then after that, they did another update saying, we are seeing positive responses from players that the issues of disconnects, latency, and server instability have been improving. We are continuing to monitor for any lingering issues. Thank you for your patience and see you on the battlefield. So hopefully these have been fixed, and thanks to Battlefield Bulletin, we now know why these issues weren't working, and apparently it was because of an outage of the Amazon Web Services, and this was like a major outage here, affected a bunch of companies, as you can see, not just EA, so I guess we can't blame them for this one. And finally, to cap this video off, those of you who remember Marcus Leto and Ridgeline Studios, this was supposed to be the new studio that they spun up just for Battlefield 6, and they were working on the single player portion of the game. Now, for some reason, at some point, Marcus Leto had a falling out with EA, and he left, and then EA subsequently shut down Ridgeline Games. And that's probably the reason that the single player wasn't really up to snuff. It was kind of buggy. I haven't even played it yet because I've just not heard great things about it. But I think it's fair to say it didn't really meet the quality bar that the rest of the game had set. Now, since that happened, he kind of said that he was pretty pissed off with EA, but then he's just kept his head down. He's been fairly silent on the whole matter until today, where he took to LinkedIn and left this post here. And he says, I'm disappointed to see that many of my former teammates from Ridgeline Games were not properly credited in the recent release of Battlefield 6. These talented developers worked tirelessly for 1 to 2.5 years building the foundation of the game before I left voluntarily and the studio was subsequently shuttered. Despite their significant contributions, most who were laid off were relegated to a special thanks section at the very end of the credits, and several were omitted entirely, including myself. Out of respect for my colleagues and the awesome work they poured into this project, I want to take a moment to properly recognize them, listing their names and roles as I would have preferred them to appear in the credits. Game development is a team effort, and every contributor deserves fair acknowledgement. And this is the picture that he left here, and you can see the names that have been omitted. And I gotta say, if this is true and there's no other reason for EA to leave out these names, that's kind of a shitty move here, just not like giving people credit, even if the studio was shuttered, even if you had a falling out with Marcus Leto. If he did work on the game and these people did work on the game, they deserve to be credited appropriately. At least I think so. Now, we have heard rumors that basically all of the work that Ridgeline Games did, they couldn't use any of it for whatever reason. I would love to be a fly on the wall and know exactly what went down there. But the rumor is that none of it was usable. And so Motive, who basically came in to replace Ridgeline Studios and take over, they had to pretty much start from scratch. And I think that could be the reason that some of these people haven't been credited here. But even so, they still worked on the project, even if you decided to not use what they worked on. Like, I still think they kind of deserve some credit there. Oh well, it's all water under the bridge now, I suppose. And that is going to wrap this one up, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you found it informative or useful or enjoyable, don't forget to leave a like down below. Don't forget to subscribe as well to stay up to date with everything Battlefield. Like I said, we will be live streaming the trailer reveal tomorrow and going over any new information, so don't miss out on that. Thank you guys as always for watching the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.